Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, so our topic is accountability, yes or no. It's a question. Are we supposed to be accountable, yes or no? So before we go into the program proper, I please, what is the meaning of this big word accountability?
Okay, thank you. Uh, Accountability pretty much is being responsible, of something. Is a, is a, like you said, is a big word. Okay, so we can say in my word, I think I can put it like checks and balances. Being responsible. Uh, being responsible of things. It could be responsible of someone or team. So it all depends. Okay, so I will leave it there for now.
Okay. What should I look for in an accountability partner?
Okay, so are we in? Okay, now let me focus more on the word accountability. Okay, so accountability is like checks and balances. Okay, it's like a way to say, we can say reflection. Going through over things, checking our do's and don'ts. It's like a roadmap. Okay, being responsible of things we do, being responsible of our behaviors and actions. Okay, yes, it still boils down in a relationship. Okay, being accountable of your actions, being accountable of anything around you, the things you do, the things you say, the behaviors and actions. And then you said what you're expecting with a partner. Well, overall, we have to be accountable of things we do. We have to be accountable of, our responsibilities in our home. We have to be accountable of so many things, that we are in charge of. We have to be accountable of that, which, marriage, of course, is part of them. Even our children, the raising of our children. So that will be my response.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering my questions. You mentioned something about being accountable to our children or for our children. What do you mean by that? Please kindly expatiate on that.
Okay, now the topic here, remember the topic here says, who are you accountable to, right? We live in a free, like people will say, you have freedom to live, freedom of life. We have freedom to do. So pretty much like I was saying, the accountability, who are you accountable to? Is it right? Is it good? Or is it important to be accountable to someone? Is it important to be accountable, to our responsibilities? Absolutely. To the things we do, like I said, our actions and behavior. We have to be accountable, accountable of those. Then when it comes to our kids, I will really maybe limit this maybe when we treat parenting. I know we've done the gender parenting, but I won't go deep on that. Okay, but I'm focusing overall on who we are, why why we should be accountable, to, in our behaviors and actions. Okay, now like I said, when you said accountability, okay, we shouldn't just, live life or do things because we have the power to do them. And I actually noted some things here. Okay, being accountable to things we do, it helps us, to navigate certain things, because in life it is easier to deviate. It's easier, you are going on these directions. Without accountability, it's easier to go out of your lane. It's easier to leave your focus, to doing another thing. Okay, So whatever we do in this life, we have to be accountable of those. And I will use this for instance, okay? Personally, I am accountable to certain things. I'm accountable of a lot of things, even what I do on social media, I am accountable to that, I'm accountable to my family, okay? So there are things I might post on social media, for example, maybe my family might see that and maybe, they don't really understand it, or maybe the content is not, maybe kind of controversial or something, they can call me and be like, hey, what's going on? Why this? So the way I will put it, there should be people in all our endeavors. There should be people, we should be accountable to. Okay, we as well should be accountable even to ourselves, which requires self-discipline. If we are going to preach on things, we have to be role models. If we're going to, talk about certain things like telling do's and don'ts, we have to live it. Okay. And when we do all of those, yes, we still have to be accountable of those. So I don't know if I addressed that question. So then the accountability, we can still, like I say, refers that as a checks and balances. Okay. It helps us to reflect. Without accountability, without or reflection, or even, kind of having that moment, to weigh the things we do, okay? It is easier, like I said earlier, it's easier to deviate from, the bone of contention in anything we're doing. So accountability helps us to, manage our do's and don'ts. This helps us to manage, our activities, our behaviors, our actions, the things we do and the things, we don't do, even though we may have right to do them, or even though we feel, we have the power to do it, but knowing that, there are do's and don'ts, it helps us to get away, or stay off to certain behaviors. Can you hear me now? Hello? Hello? Okay, sorry, viewers. We really apologized. Now my host, she's out. So let me just go on with the topic, okay? If she comes in, I'll still continue because of time. So let me go on with the topic. I put some things here, okay? Now, like I said, why do we have to be accountable to someone? If we are doing anything in this life and we are not accountable to anybody or even to ourselves, we intend to make many mistakes, okay? But that accountability, it helps us, it helps us to weigh things out. It helps us to reflect, it helps us to be able to know our limits in our dealings in life. So I will put it this way: it's like a roadmap. When you're going somewhere and you have your directions, you have your roadmap, your map, it helps to navigate your way, it helps to direct your routes. But without that, we can do a lot of things. Without that, you can be heading or have intention of going to south, and then you see yourself in north. There is that possibility. So again, why being accountable, why accountability? One of the importance of accountability, okay, like in government, okay, it is where actually this helps to guide, certain decisions they make. And that's where why there is what they call the checks and balances. Of course, there are other things before the end of the month or end of the year, So, but that's where they have that checks and balances. And again, in the family culture, okay, family culture still helps to model that, accountabilities. The families, they know their do's and don'ts, they know their limits, to certain things. They have things they respect, they have things, they do, and things they don't do. Okay. And everybody in the family is accountable. Family is a body. It's made up of father, mother, and them children. Okay, that's for the nuclear. So everybody is accountable to ensure that family, for the effectiveness of that family. So no one is exempted. Everyone's duty, to play a good role to maintain the functionality of that family. Okay. And again, why accountability again? It helps, like I said, to reduce mistakes. If you are not accountable to maybe someone, or you are not accountable, even to yourself, if there is no accountability, we'll make a lot of mistakes. We'll live a life of regrets, because you end up, just living that life, doing so many mistakes, taking so many decisions, without considerations, and then tends to regret those tomorrow. Okay. But when we put ourselves on check, we'll be able to know the things we do, or separate wrong from right. Okay. And again, accountability, when we talk of that word again, it helps to maintain the focus. When we are accountable to something, it helps us to know that it's not all about us. Okay. So it narrows, it helps us to maintain the focus. Okay. It helps us not to deviate. It helps us to maintain our lane. Okay. And one other thing that I'll put here. Okay. I know. Hello, ma'am, you're back. Are you here?
Yes,
Miss
I can
Ake-
hear you.
Okay, so go ahead, please.
Okay, let's you said something earlier that when you want to make some post on social media, you take a step back to think, maybe because you're accountable to so many people. Yes, what's the place of pride? Like, some people are very proud. Like, how I deal with my pride if I truly want to be accountable to people? Here's my
Okay,
question.
okay. When you talk of pride, uh we all, I mean, will I use I don't know if we're going to use pride here, being proud. Okay. It depends. But my response to that, okay, of course, even God let us know, okay, if we are proud, like we are proud, we know it all. We definitely, gonna make so many mistakes. It's gonna cost us, you know. We should be able, or we should be open to take feedbacks. Feedbacks is good. It enables us to grow. It enables us to limit, multiple mistakes. It enables us the same thing to do what? To check, that checks and balances, to check our behaviors and actions. But in a situation whereby maybe we are so proud, like we can, we are not accountable to anybody. It doesn't matter. We live our free life. It doesn't matter. We can even, scatter, tear the walls apart. We intend to regret it. It will cost us. Those things we fail to do definitely comes back to us, including Mother Nature. Okay? So that of proud is a personal thing. If anyone has that problem, naturally we all have it, to an extent. What do I mean by, I'm not going to use the word proud. I will rather use contented, being content with what you have, contented with what you have, or who you are, like being proud of who you are, but the negative part of it definitely will cause the person, because you will end up making a lot of mistakes, and then no one will, correct you. No one will talk to you, and then you go by yourself. And when you go in without no feedback, you don't know if you're getting it right or wrong. You don't hear from anyone. You are too proud, then do it yourself and, take every blame. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. So, I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
Last year January, I had a friend. We decided to be accountability partners for our New Year resolution. I decided that okay, I told her my goals. I was going to lose weight. I was going to do this. I was going to do that. I want to do this and that. And she told me her own goals too. And for the first 2 months, it went well. That okay, why after a time I felt I wasn't meeting up to expectations about the goals. Like she would ask me, have you okay, you said we're going to write this book. How many chapters have you done? So I found myself lying to her sometimes just because I wanted to save face. Like I wasn't meeting up, but I wasn't truthful enough. So if a new year is here now and if I want to have another accountability partner, what advice do you have for me?
Okay. Thank you for that question. Okay. Sometimes, when these kind of questions comes, you see people say, yeah, nobody's perfect. I always tell people, let's stop referring to perfection or not perfection. No one is perfect and no one will be. Okay? It's only God. When you talk of perfection, take it to God. But guess what? People are awesome. So let's focus on being awesome. People are awesome. Okay? Now, when you talk of the goals and all of that, we all do that. We which by January or so, we're gonna actually make some posts or some sharing on those topics. Okay. Now, for us to achieve or for you to achieve anything in this life, you have to be accountable of that. And the major thing there has to be self-discipline. Self-discipline, integrity. Okay. What do I mean by that? You have to be able, not just pleasing people. Now, it's not just to please the person. And I tell people, we all give reasons, for things we don't do. But the truth is that when we want to do something, we will find a way. And luckily, unfortunately, there is always way. There is always how, But the things we don't want to do, we give excuses. Okay, so to meet to that, to be accountable to the things you affirm or the things you promise yourself you will do, you can't just say that. You have to back it up. You have to be accountable of those. Okay, there should be that self-discipline. There should be commitment. There should be activities. Okay, now coming to that weight loss. Okay, you cannot just say that. You should be, you have to have someone to be accountable of, maybe with that your partner, for you to, like I will tell people, before you come to someone, with a business or anything. Okay, come with integrity. Okay, so when you're coming, when you have such thing with a person, none of you now, you are not searching for perfect, you're searching to achieve a goal. Okay, so you have to be honest to that person. The days you don't do it, tell the person, oh, I wasn't able to do that. Okay, so there should be that integrity, there should be that self-discipline, and I advise ourselves when we're making things like this, it has to be pen and paper. You connect easily with things you write down, the simple things you write down, than those maximum things, you anticipate to do. Okay, you can put like just 3 things and then be committed to that. And whoever you are working with, whoever you are accountable to, you have to be honest. It's just like having a barrister. If you have issues and have a lawyer, you are accountable, to that. You have to, for that lawyer to, give you a fair justice or to, really defend you, you have to be honest. When you go to the hospital, you are sick and you go there, don't tell the doctor what's wrong, what's going on with you. Doctor will end up giving you something else, or ending up not preventing or maybe helping with the sickness. So accountability comes with discipline and integrity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So from what you said, I got the point that the most striking point for me is about keeping records. Because if I write down, that means there is a tendency for me to stick to it, right? Is that what you mean?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. So what if I've accepted to be an accountability partner for somebody else, and I notice that my partner is lagging behind? What steps can I do? Because the essence of being able is to make sure that everybody is of their game and on top of their toes to get
Yes.
tasks done. So if my partner is lagging behind in her task, what should I do? I've tried to
Okay.
talk to her, I've tried to encourage her, and she isn't yielding. So what other things can I do? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. And this is again, remember we talk of a commitment. When we agree to do something, when we agree to achieve a goal, we should agree to commit. There should be efforts, and again, I'll take it to God. For God to bless us and for God to, do our prayers and all of that, all of those, we have a role to play. God does not multiply zero. There are the things we do that when we now pray to God, He comes and then multiply those things we have already done, our own efforts. Okay. But when we don't do anything and just sit and asking for God's, blessings and God, when He comes, what is He going to bless or what is going to multiply? Emptiness or what? Okay. So if you're going to work with someone, okay, one, you all have to draft on what to work on and then agree to that. If anyone is, slagging back, then you talk about it, you communicate, okay? And when you put stuff like that, maybe weekly, you should be able to, because communication should be there. So you should be able to have like a day for checks and balances to checkmate each other. Okay, where are you at this point? Where are you at this point? Follow up. You see that. But when you see there is no effort, there is difference between where, when you see someone, having the willingness to learn, willingness to move on, willingness to, that is different, okay? But in a situation whereby the person is not just doing it or just, giving excuses, you don't let the person to drag you down too. So definitely if it's not working, it's not working. You shouldn't be in between. If it's not working, you'll look for how. And then if he's not willing, to go on how, then it's not working, then you drop it and move on. I've had a couple of people that will put our workout, workout schedule, and then you will see excuses here and there, and to me, if it's not working, because once it's not working or the person is not putting the impact, definitely it's going to be affecting you, and instead of me blocking you or you blocking, then it's not working, you all go your different path. You can still remain friends, but for that goal is not working. So you get for someone else. Or if it's something you can move on, that self-discipline, you move on. I don't know if that helps.
That helps. That helps actually. That helps. But what if it's in a marriage situation that you're okay? I don't want to dive so much into relationship, but what if it's a relationship? Maybe your husband is your accountability partner and he's dragging you back, or you are dragging him back. Should you, because of that? Just on a lighter note. I got your point and it's very well noted. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yes, ma'am. Let me, for the question, even though, we didn't plan to stay this long, but let me touch on that, okay? Remember again, if we agree on a course, we should be committed to it, okay? Now, with that of committing to that, the person doesn't just say, there are priorities, okay? So you should take note of that, okay? In a professional mode, okay? If this person is not living up to that, there will be a replacement. And now I will take it to the family. In a family, we all have our strengths and the weakness or weaknesses, okay? In a place where a woman have the strength, okay, you support the woman, to maximize the strength. In a place where your husband have that strength, okay, you support him to do what? To maximize his strength. Then in a situation whereby you see that this person is no, and then you can do it, you have the strength there, then move on. But if the person is drawing you back, then it's something to talk about, it's something to dialogue on. And then if you are not getting it, or, if it's not working, like I said, there is always how. Go for how. If you're going to get help, you get help, just whatever how that works, go for how. But there is always how, But then giving up or quitting, it shouldn't be, it shouldn't be ideal. you know.
Okay. Okay. I hear you. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for. So I just, you have 3 minutes to summarize your points. What do you mean to take away? What do you want a listener to take away from this accountability talk? Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So let me put it this way, to all our audience, thank you all for being here. We thank you. So now, again, I will get it back to the topic of the show. Who are you accountable to? Okay. It is important to be accountable. Accountability is important because it's like a guide. It helps us to limit, many mistakes. It helps us to avoid living in regrets. It helps us to catch things on time before they go wrong or before they get bad. Okay. When you are following up, when you are checkmating, it's easier. Okay. If you are being accountable, it's easy to catch things, on time before they go bad. Okay. Reflection, when we live in life without reflecting, without like having time to reflect, sit back, to checkmate, we can go wide. That is why you see many things going online. Most often people you see online, they don't just come online just to go saga or just to go the way it is or to get it all the negative part. No, these people, many of them, they have good intention, but guess what? If you are not accountable, to something or to some, if you are not accountable to nobody, it's easy to deviate. It's easier because there are many distractions out there. Okay. It could be your family. For the sake of your family, for the sake of your background, you have your limitations. There are things you cannot do because of what you are there, because of who you are, because of who you are, you have your limitation to certain things. Because of who you are, you cannot just be distracted. The world is busy, So I'm putting it again. Some people use their pastors, some use their brothers, their siblings, their husband, you could be accountable to those, but it doesn't matter, who that person is. But whoever the person is, be honest to that. Let it be for a genuine cause. Be honest to that, And of course, you don't do that to paint walls or sugarcoat things. Be honest to that in order to make it productive or in order to achieve the purpose, But is it right? Is it important to be accountable, to think? Absolutely, absolutely. I'm telling you, my sister, without accountability, many things will go wrong. I'm telling you. Without accountability, we can leave so many error, like so many mistakes that we will end up regretting, So it is right. It is because of accountability that the poor, the rich, or the privileged can, see the less privileged or approach the less privileged. But all those things, when we don't checkmate, when we don't reflect, when we don't, go through those, we cannot live wide, which that accountability still has to do with conscience, we have to have conscience. And I will end this with this golden rule, is one of my, call it my slogan, call it anything. Do unto others what you want others to do unto you, and do not do unto them what you do not want them to do unto you. Onye mara ihe ga-eso okwu ya emere ya. Ihe ị ga-eme onye ọzọ eme gị ya ọma dị gị mma, ọ ihe ga-eme gị ọ dịrọ gị mma eme ya onye ọzọ. Okay, so if things that are gonna hurt you, don't do that same thing to someone else, So I'm just gonna end it here. But yes, we have to be accountable to our actions and our behaviors, and this is like our roadmap to correct some certain things, because we are in life, we are in the world, we have to live life. But again, we have to live it right, or at least live it better. Okay. Thank you, and I'm stopping it here.
Okay, thank you so much for your time and for sharing from your wealth of knowledge with us. We truly appreciate you. And would always remember to communicate. Yes, that's the key word that I will take away from here this evening. We should communicate with honesty and integrity. That's the only way accountability can be useful for both, but for both the accountability partner, but for both accountability partners. So thank you much. We appreciate you and have a wonderful day. We have come to the end of the show.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you
bye.
so much. Thank you for your time. I
Yeah,
appreciate you always and available, for this good cause, by the grace of God. And to you, all our viewers, thank you. Thank you, Mr. John. Thank you, Miss Chinwe. Thank you, Mr. Darlington. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, Mr. Chigozie. Thank you, Miss Hope. Thank you, Miss Ife. Thank you, Miss Ogochuku. Thank you, thank you, our viewers. Thank you. We appreciate you all, and thank you for making it to the program. Okay, we'll see you again some other time. Okay, and thank you, Stella Uju. Thank you for joining, but we are closing the show here. So thank you, my awesome host, Miss Abigail. It is nice to rock it out with you. Okay. And we apologize
yeah.
for the network, back and forth, but we good. Okay. Remember, there is no perfect things in life. But guess what? There are awesome. And I believe we did awesome. True or false? We will see you all. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And please don't
bye.
forget to support us, share our program. Okay. It's a growing initiative, but again, it's for good cause. And will make us proud. Okay, like we are saying, accountability. We are accountable to our mission, to things we're doing, to things we're gonna do in the future. We are accountable to them, and we come with honesty and integrity. Okay, so thank you all, and have a blessed week. Bye bye.